Alright, this one's about Claire Jordan. So, Andrew Wolnez was harassing me, 5 minutes at a time in some places. Later on, he started doing what them youngins were doing and just drive by and throw something at me. And by the time I get my camera out, he's already ridden by, or he'll ride by and scream that I'm a pedophile or some crap like that. And then he'll ride by a second time. So Claire kept on saying she was going to help me, and we can go through all of the videos and all of the messages. It's pretty much always the same. We'll press play here. Andrew Wolnez screaming at me. Of course, at this point, I finally have two telephones.
You're a fucking parasite! There he is.
I'm already dialing 911 by this point. And at least this time I'm able to record it. So I gotta send evidence, right?
I'm right outside of the Elks, 1437 3rd Street, I believe. Andrew Wolnez is riding by and threatening me and harassing me, and he's been doing this literally for, well, almost every day since I got out of jail. Andrew Wolnez, I have a protection order against him, and he is not stopping.
He's never stopped. He continues this stuff. I have to hide out in a backyard. Of course, I typed to her this is 33 minutes ago because I had to go through all the crap of trying to turn it in, which actually went absolutely nowhere. So Sunday, May 19th, 2024, this is the day that I got arrested because the guy who was threatening to kill me, and of course, there's a whole bunch of messages with Claire. She kept on claiming she was going to help me turn it in. So Sunday, May 19th, I called her up, and I didn't get to say anything. It was just, she was angry and screaming and pissed off and just needed somebody to take it out on. So, I mean, here I am, a guy who has threatened to kill me on multiple occasions, and she's got messages of this, and there's multiple YouTube videos as well with the situation over at Mossum's where, I called her because it was an emergency. And so she's in several of them. But of course, whenever you call somebody and you're in crisis and you need help, the first thing they're going to do is treat you like you are a piece of crap for trying. And this is the thing about Claire. See, y'all notice that I always make excuses for Claire, and I'll continue making excuses, and this is the reason. She has a daughter. But let's read this. This is a situation where a guy has literally just swung a pipe at my head, and I have to try to find a friend or family member who gives a crap to help turn this in. And I literally don't have one. I tried calling Claire, and I called one other feller, and he actually showed up, but that's a different story altogether. And she started yelling at me, and of course, all of the stuff that she claimed she was going to help me with prior to this, she didn't help me with. It was just a scam to try to get out of town, to try to get a hold of my money, to try to get help out of me, but that was because she wanted to get her daughters out of this situation. Anyway, so she's typing here about how she's doing 20-hour days for a month, can't get help for her fast enough, don't know how to help you, and I have tried. Well, she hadn't tried. She literally hadn't tried. And then, of course, it's the I'm not your mom, but I am her mom, the whole pity party thing. And mind you, I spent a lot of time helping her out. A lot of time whenever she needed help and asked for it. But this is the shit that she's sending me. I'm literally going through a situation where I'm having to turn in crimes that have been committed against me to crooked cops who refuse to investigate any crime committed against me. And she's just pumping me full of all this crap. And, you might think, well, maybe this is reasonable. But then you go back through all the other stuff and you see this. She's not helping anybody. She's not. She's taking advantage of people. And okay, her biological kids come first. But you know what? I never stopped fighting for her, and I never stopped fighting for her kids. And you get to see this. I'm going through some of the same stuff. But of course, There's this stuff about everybody is just too busy to tell the truth. No, she has plenty of time to tell the truth. There are plenty of times where she will talk to me for hours on end about her own bullshit. And most of those I don't post up. The reason for that is because, first of all, it's not everybody's business. But second of all, one of the situations is that it takes a long time to post these videos up. A really long time. Now, of course, this is the pity party that I get from everybody who promises that they're going to help me and don't keep their word. When there's a situation where I actually need them, what are they going to do? Are they going to treat me completely like shit and use their kids as an excuse? You goddamn right they will. And that's the thing, is that I know Claire's not going to help me. I know that the things that she claims that she did, she doesn't have any evidence of. I also know that I saved the evidence, so she can rely on my evidence if she's willing to go through my YouTube channel and look for it. But this is the reality of trying to get help. People in similar situations are just too selfish. See, she could easily spend some of that time helping to turn it in, but she just wants to pity party, pity party, pity party. So then when I was in jail, a lot of this stuff I hadn't even seen. I mean, you get to see when it's sent. But I was busy with trying to text with Claire. Meanwhile, she's rapid firing this fucking really mean text shit. And it is mean. It is mean-hearted, especially in the situation that I was dealing with. And she's having to deal with some of the same people from me. And, of course, she's having to, deal with the stresses of that. But she's not trying to turn them in. She's making zero effort to actually turn them in. And that's the thing that pisses me off the most, is that every single time she says she wants to turn these people in, she can't turn it in because she doesn't have anybody else to turn it in with. Well, she never, ever tried to turn it in with me, and I offered repeatedly, and repeatedly she's used that as her excuse to be shitty to me. Well, nobody helped me turn it in. Yeah, but I offered now, didn't I? Many times, both before and since, and every time that she sends me more information about the abuse that she had to go through, I make sure I still try to turn it in, because it doesn't take much to try to turn it in. It doesn't take much at all. And at least if you try to turn it in and you make sure that there's evidence that you tried to turn it in, at least you have that evidence that you made the effort, instead of just expecting people to believe everything that you say, which is what I'm having to deal with these predators calling me mentally ill. There's a reason they do that. The reason that they call you mentally ill is to try to deter people from listening to you. Now, the other thing is, we as men get this pity party out of women all the time. She wanted my help, but she's not willing to help. This is another one of those people who very easily, instead of hopping on the dick of the nearest junkie, could have actually worked together with somebody who was willing to turn it in. But then, of course, she'd tell me, she was going to set aside some time to work on her stuff, and she needed some help with it. And then she'd say, oh, no, I'm going to go do it by myself. Okay, well, go do it by yourself. But don't bitch at me that nobody fucking helped you, because I offered over and over and over again, and have shown over and over and over again, it doesn't take much to make the effort. Then there's the stuff that she claims that she did, but she doesn't have any evidence of it because she didn't do it with me. And she didn't record it. But then she wants to claim that she records this stuff. And where's the evidence? Here's what I want to know. All right? All of these people, the most simple thing, look at evidence and help turn it in. When she sends me stuff, do I look at it? Yes. When I send her stuff, does she look at it? No. She fucking talks about herself nonstop, even when she says that she's going to spend the time to help you. She's one of those people that I took the time out of my day repeatedly to help her, despite the fact that she claimed she was going to help me during those periods of time. She repeatedly pawned me off on Casey, who I'd already had to go through trying to deal with Casey's crap. No, he doesn't have it together well enough to help himself out. And that's one of the excuses I get a lot from a lot of people. But no, Casey is seriously like, I don't know if it's meth induced or what, but he is seriously out there. Now, yes, your biological children should come first. Absolutely. But at some point, you have to stop using them as an excuse for the shitty things that you did and the people that you took advantage of. If you're going to make claims that you did something, then give proof. Otherwise, the victim just gets treated like they're schizophrenic and delusional. And this right here is exactly why. People who are aware of the situation are just shitty people. Just shitty people. Now, you can go through the conversations with her and I, and you can listen to this stuff through it. You know, many times there was situations where I literally had to pay people, like I've said through all of this, I literally had to pay people to sit down with me to look at this goddamn evidence, and Claire Jordan is one of them. And Kara Scudder is one of them. Now, Kara Scudder, she didn't take it seriously until I offered to pay her $100 an hour to sit with me. And she said, I'm not going to let you pay me. And that's when she finally offered to sit down with me. Now, that's the last time that I saw Claire, by the way, because Claire sent me a message saying that she needed some money and she was going to help me. And then she came in, and this is Kara Scudder had sat down about an hour and a half to 2 hours to sit down with me and help me. So Claire came in, and the whole time I had to listen to Claire nonstop. This didn't help me. She took up all of the time that I needed to fill, you know, every little space of it with letting Kara Scudder know what was going on. And here's Claire Jordan coming in and just not shutting up about her own thing. Now, the thing is, if she'd instead of tried to manipulate the situation and pretend like she was trying to help me, she could have told me, hey, Sean, I found my kids. I know where they're at. I'm going to rescue them, and I need the money to do it. I would have given her the money to do it. But at the same time, I'm not just going to hand over money for somebody who's not actually helping. I'd already done it too many times before. I'd already done so many errands for her, driven from one end of the town to the other with them batteries so that she and Casey could get them charged up. And meanwhile, I didn't want to have anything to do with Casey. And I was trying to explain that to her. But no, we have to wait until after the fact, after she's treated me like I'm a complete and total moron. Then, of course, she wants to say, oh, well, Casey was a horrible this and a horrible that, and he did this and he did that. And I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. Now, the things that she says, why is it that I don't have a problem believing the things that she says, despite the fact that whenever it comes to her needing help, I get complained at. Nobody's helping her. Nobody's helping her. Well, lots of people are helping her because she's a woman and because the victim is a child. And this is one of the things that she spoke about on my channel as well. There's no help for men. So here I am. I'm in a situation where a man who has repeatedly threatened my life, repeatedly threatened to kill me, to stab me, all sorts of other stuff. And here's Claire Jordan, who's actually aware of it. She's aware of a lot of this abuse. She doesn't bother to look at my videos because she doesn't actually care. It's not a matter of actually helping me. It's a matter of the manipulation thing. She'll help me only enough to keep me around if she needs help. And she does need my help because I got a lot of evidence, obviously. She's not the only person who's going through this, but she pretends that she's the only one going through this. And then she hides behind her children when it comes to keeping her word. Of course, do I stick up for Claire? Of course I do. Her children come first. It even says it right there. Her children come first. And I absolutely respect that. But here's the thing. I was in a state of emergency. A very, very frustrating and scary situation had just happened. And the last thing that you need when you've been through that is some fucking bitch treating you like fucking shit because you need fucking help. And treating you like you're a horrible person for needing help. This is somebody who fucking scammed me while she was here. Now, I make excuses for her scamming me, but the fact is that is exactly what she did. Not only that, she ate up at least 50 to 100 hours of my time with her crap. Every time that she claimed that she was going to help me, she had to run off like some crackhead to do some errand somewhere by herself. Well, that doesn't seem to me like you're trying to get somebody's help doing it. That seems to me like you're running off and whatever you're doing it by yourself. When you say, oh, well, nobody would help me, well, that's because you went in by yourself. I offered over and over and over again, and she admitted that I offered over and over and over again. And then what she wants to say, oh, well, everybody wanted to tell me that I have to have a boyfriend. I got to go back to my husband. No, what you need to turn in abuse is a friend or family member. And I absolutely was a friend. I didn't make these goddamn excuses every time that she asked for help. I also recorded the fact that I tried to get that help. I made sure that I saved screenshots of trying to get that help. And that's the difference between somebody who's a friend and somebody who's using you. Somebody who's using you is going to pretend they're going to help you, take advantage of you, and then treat you like shit when it comes to actually coming forward. Now, how many times has Claire talked to me since this? Since she went out of her way, while I'm in a state of crisis, she went out of her way to be the shittiest fucking person that she could. So why does she still talk to me? Well, first of all, because the evidence that I have shows the stuff they're trying to pretend she's delusional over is absolutely not a delusion. She's not the only victim. The people who did this stuff to me did the same thing to her. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. The thing is, I do understand Claire, at least to some degree, as far as the trauma goes, and as far as the PTSD goes, and as far as being autistic goes. But as far as stabbing somebody in the back repeatedly and being ungrateful about it and then treating them like they're a piece of shit after everything that you took advantage of them for, after all the time of theirs that you wasted on empty promises, after complaining at them and literally yelling at them at the top of their lungs that nobody would help them, well, you know what? There were lots of people who were willing to help Claire. Lots of people who were willing to help Claire. Lots of people who are still trying to help Claire. And here's the thing. If she didn't have any children, I'd be trying to put her in prison for what she did. Do children make a valid excuse? Well, if you take the abuse from TFCC and the local police department and sheriff's department into account, yeah, I'd say she definitely has an excuse to be pissed off. I'd say she has just as much of an excuse to be pissed off as me. But the difference is that because she's a woman and her daughter is a girl and underage, they are actually getting help. And by the way, this is a few years ago, so her daughter is older. And this situation is still something that she's trying to get resolution with. But at the same time, she's making 0 steps towards it. 0. The stuff that she's claiming she wants to help with, what she will do is talk in circles and make excuses. She wants other people's help, but she's not going to help anyone else. And this is what we're stuck with as men. When we're victimized and we have to try to get help, we have to try to get help primarily from services that are run by women that'll only help women. And here we get to see a situation where there's a woman who didn't get that help. The people that she went to for help here took advantage of her. And so, since TFCC took advantage of her and the sheriff's department and police departments took advantage of her, well, she didn't have anybody else to go to, and she took advantage of me to get that shit going. Now, are those felonies in this state? Yes, absolutely they are. They're felonies in every state. Fleeing state afterwards is also against the law, but nobody cares. Least of all me. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because despite all of the horrible shit that she did to me and the horrible way that she treated me when I tried to get help and the excuses that she makes repeatedly, it's not always mean shit like this. I mean, we all know when somebody promises to help and then they just don't want to, they're always sick, right? Or, of course, when somebody claims that they're going to send you money, but it never comes through, and they're like, oh, well, I sent you money. Well, it didn't come through. Maybe you should have listened to me and listened to what I'm able to do and what I have access to before you start making bad decisions. That's the thing about people jumping the gun and making assumptions. Like every time that Claire says that she's going to help me, we end up spending all of that time listening to her talk about herself and talk about her situation. And at some point, it becomes a no pity me thing, because this is a situation where she has said that she's going to help me. So when your excuse for not helping somebody else, you always have an excuse. No matter what, you're always sick. You're always working 20-hour jobs, or then you don't have a job and you're trying to scrounge up stuff. Yeah, I get that. It takes 5 fucking minutes to turn this shit in. 5 minutes. When she told me what the dude did, the first thing I did was try to inform the guards. I also tried filling out inmate request forms. I also texted with people. I did everything that I could to try to turn it in from inside of the jail, because I was inside of the jail when she let me know this stuff happened. And this stuff right here, this is the day that I was arrested and put in jail. Now then, after the fact, she did call some of my attorneys to try to talk to them. But instead of looking up the information that could help put a stop to this abuse, she never bothered to look it up until, what is it, like 2 weeks ago she claimed that she did, maybe 3 weeks ago. Yeah, take care of your kids. But at the same time, keep your word. And if you really feel bad about the things that you did, then actually keep your word now, instead of just sending this stuff. Now, if I sent you the stuff that she's been sending recently, well, there's a bunch of it that would let you know how horrible of an experience that she's had. At the same time, am I the guy that she should have taken this stuff out on? Am I a horrible person because she lied to me repeatedly, took advantage of me, ate up a whole bunch of my time, never kept her word? Does that make it okay to treat me like shit because she didn't keep her word? No, of course it doesn't. Now, this is the issue with all of these other victims. They all want help. They all expect help. Many of them, primarily the women, do get help, and a lot of it. And then it's always a pity party how they don't have enough time. They can't tell the truth. They don't have the ability to tell the truth. They have too much going on with their own stuff. And then, of course, anytime that you need help, they're going to interrupt what it is that you're saying to make it about them. And that's one of the things about, you might have noticed when I'm talking with Claire, that I interrupt her a lot. I just straight don't care anymore. She makes it obvious every time that she claims that she's going to help me with my situation, that she's not going to focus on my situation at all. She doesn't care. She just wants to talk about herself. And these are the worst kind of friends, because they eat up so much time and then treat you like shit. Imagine if this is the kind of crap that you sent. Imagine if, let's say, Claire Jordan got beaten up by her boyfriend or by one of these friends of her boyfriend, and she needed to try to get help from somebody that she had helped out repeatedly, and this friend had promised to help repeatedly. There's nobody else to call. It's a screwed up situation, and you let your friend know what's just happened to you, or at least you try, and the first thing that you got to deal with is her fucking yelling at you and treating you like you're a shitty person and then sending you a fucking pity party. No, that's not help. Help means coming forward with the victim. You go in with the victim, and you go in informed. Don't just talk out your ass like Claire Jordan. Keep your word. But how many people actually keep their word? None of them. Not a single person has kept their word. What they do is take advantage of me. They take advantage of my disability money. They take advantage of my time. They take advantage of the fact that I am in a vulnerable situation and dependent on others. Other people who are going to play nice and pretend like they care and say, yeah, send me this stuff. I'll help you send it in, which is what I did. I sent her this stuff. I certainly sent her this stuff, but it's always a pity party. Like, let's take a look at this. It goes all the way back to the very top. This is, you see how much scrolling I'm doing? This is a lot of scrolling. Yeah, and this is a bunch of pity party stuff from her that I'm trying to help turn in. She needs help. Nobody's helping her. Nobody's helping her. I offered to help her, and then all of a sudden, she's got something else going on, and she doesn't need help. She can do it herself. And then all of a sudden, she's bitching that nobody will help her again, and nobody will help her again. And meanwhile, there you go, right at the very top, July 7th, 2023. Boom! So this is the first message. July 7th, 2023 at 8:13 p.m. See that? A whole bunch of stuff. And then there's the messages that she sends me. Things like, you need to get out of there. She definitely sounds scared when she says it, but she never helped to turn it in with me, ever. And everybody goes out of their way. Literally, every single person goes out of their way not to understand with me, not for me, with me. That means we go in at the same time so that if we are talked over, dismissed, whatever, we have a fucking witness. I can back you up, you can back me up. We both go in and make sure that it's recorded, and the more the merrier. If your daughter is raped, do you try to turn it in right away, or do you treat them like this? And this is the problem with not having any. She wrote here, someone did harm my kids and no one helped me with prevention of it, let alone the stopping of it. I'm still trying to get help and still dealing with the damage. I wrote, and I have done what I can to be patient. I offered to go in with you to turn it in safely, just as I have with everyone else who said kids were harmed. I also spoke up on my YouTube channel, and I even tried turning it in by myself. I'm still being harmed literally daily. Every time you made time to listen, you ended up doing nearly all the talking. I'm trying hard to share your voice, but I can't just keep taking the shaft. I had to wait 3 months for Miss Scudder to make time to listen and help. You wanted me to take your help right at that moment, and when you showed up and you and she talked over me like I wasn't there. Miss Scudder never heard me. You never heard me. And I'm tired of people making empty promises, then hiding behind God's, kids, and funerals. I listened to you. I shared your words, but that hasn't been the same in my direction. As far as preventing it, I've been speaking up about it since before your kids were taken because I know a lot of victims and all of them have shown no matter what, I will never matter.
I had to go get my children from Florida myself because no agency would get back to me. I had to drive all the way to Florida and pick them up. They were covered in bugs, bruises, severely neglected. One of my dogs already died from what looks like chemical exposure, and then the second little dog was, on her last legs, losing teeth and massive patches of hair. So, I just got them back like a month ago. I'm still trying to figure out how to help them with their PTSD. I have massive PTSD. I have to make my kids the priority because they're my responsibility. I'd be more than happy to, go in with you and go in on it with you to say, yeah, these things are happening and here's what happened to me and here's what happened to him and that's how it's, would have to go. But as far as just going in with you, like I'm in Colorado, so I can't walk in. So I'm not really sure how much help I can be. And then it would also be extremely triggering for me. I'm dealing with a lot of mental damage and like physical and emotional. So I don't, I don't know. I've tried to listen and I've tried to tell you what I had to offer, and if what I have to
Except that
offer for help
she
is not
doesn't
something
listen.
that you
She just
need,
talks over,
then I think
and
we're at
this
an
is one
impasse.
of the things that we have to deal with women. They always want to make excuses when it comes to helping men. Every single one of these women knows exactly what to do if it's one of their female friends. Every single one of them. Every single one of them knows what to do if it's their daughter this happens to. Every single one of them thinks it's okay to eat up your time, to lie to you, to cheat, to manipulate. And yes, she said that stuff about her daughter in Florida. I absolutely understood why it is that she did that horrible stuff, but at some point, it's no longer a valid excuse. When you say you're going to do something, do it. When you say that you're going to do something in exchange for something, then it does need to be that exchange. Not, oh, well, Claire Jordan gets what she wants, but she doesn't keep her word when it comes to reciprocating it. But, she's got kids, so it's okay. No, she had kids when she made the deal. She made the kids when she lied to me. She still had those kids. Those were already her kids. Now, then there's the, oh, once I get my kids back excuses. Once I get my kids back. Well, then once she's got her kids back, she's not going to make the time. And yes, your kids should be your priority. However, when you kick the other people in the teeth who have been helping you, yeah, that's a pretty screwed up situation. When those people have been offering to help you exactly the way that you ask, and then when it comes to turning it in with the person, no, you don't literally have to go in with the person. That is optimal, and that's what she promised to do while she was still here in Tillamook, but she literally never made the effort. Every time that it was time for her to keep her word, we'd even set up an appointment. I'd show up on time for the appointment, and then I'd run around for 3 to 6 hours or more running errands for her and Casey. Or, of course, having to explain to Casey how inappropriate it was that he was making jokes and laughing over the whole situation. How about just shut the hell up? Me and Claire have a meeting right now. We set up a time for it. Not only that, but I'm willing to pay her, which is the whole point of me showing up for this stuff, is because I'm literally having to pay somebody who won't even reciprocate it if she's paid. And she kept on saying that she'd do it for free, but she didn't do it for free. This whole situation with her kids, with her and her kids in specific, I have spoken up every bit that I can without her speaking up with me to the proper goddamn authorities. See, she's making no effort to do that. She doesn't want to actually have another civilian help her out. This is exactly what she needs, and she knows it. But instead of getting my help, and instead of helping me, no, it's the fucking therapy? Is that what this is? Is that what these people think of me as? After they've promised to help me and taken advantage of me multiple times, they want to use me as a therapist. Well, no, I'm not your therapist. You have a therapist. I need you to act as a friend or family member, which doesn't take much. If she would take the amount of time that she spends telling me this stuff, if she would spend that time on something productive, that would be useful. You get to hear how, for her, PTSD is a valid excuse, but not for me. And this is one of the things about many people who have been predatory. Many. Claire isn't exempt from that. She definitely did the horrible things that she did. She definitely took advantage of me. But, of course, why do I make excuses for her? Because she's got kids. Her kids only validate the situation until she got her kids back. Now that she's got her kids back, she should probably try to remedy the situation she screwed up instead of treating the people who are offering to help her exactly the way that she asked. Now, with all these situations, when she went in alone, she chose to do it alone, knowing full well that what she needed is somebody to go in with her so that it would be taken seriously. Somebody who would look at the evidence and speak up that it's real, that it's not a delusion. But how's that going to work when the guy that she chose to help her with that was Casey? Let's play the next one.
But regardless, I'm at work right now, and I'm out of anxiety meds, and so I'm going to have to let this go for this minute because I need to keep my job so I can keep my kids safe.
And of course, that's understandable, is it not? Absolutely. But the thing is, the people who are supposed to keep us adults safe, both myself and Claire, have failed miserably. Here in Tillamook, they make way too much money from pretending that victims who are broke are somehow schizophrenic or delusional. And of course, you get to see